What is going on, everybody? It's the Francis, and we're here for a Monday Night Raw review from April the 5th, 2021. This was by far one of the most boring episodes of Monday Night Raw, with, fittingly, one of the most boring superstars in WWE history in the main event as Baron Corbin tried to, quote-unquote, take out Drew McIntyre before WrestleMania. Did that work? No. But also, this show was taped, and it was worthless as fuck. This is WrestleMania, and this is what pisses me off the most about this. This is the first show on Saturday. On Saturday is going to be the first show since March 11th, 2020, if I'm correct. March 11th. 2020, inside the Performance Center, right before everything, the night everything was to be shut down, and we were going to have empty arenas. This coming Saturday is the first show where we're going to have a huge fan space, huge collection of fans, 25,000 on Saturday apparently, maybe more when we get there, because the Texas Rangers just held their first 100% capacity crowd tonight in their home opener. So maybe Vince McMahon gets pissed off because Vince wanted to be the first to do full capacity crowds and never got a chance to do that. So maybe there'll be more tickets sold between now and WrestleMania. Who knows? But that's going to be the first time in over a year that WWE has actual fans. And this was the fucking best they could do for a WrestleMania build from Royal Rumble to now. This has been pathetic, horrible, boring. Some of the most lifeless attempts to get people excited for what is supposed to be their Super Bowl, their World Series, their NBA Finals, their Stanley Cup Finals. This is what the Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be to WWE, their Wrestle Kingdom. And what happens? They went out there and just did absolutely some of the worst building I have seen in a long time. We bitch, moan, and complain almost every single year. I think last year everyone gave them a pass because of COVID. But this year, no excuse. Your tagline is WrestleMania is back in business. And this is the best you can do. I don't know what this company is trying to do. I don't know if Vince McMahon is literally trying to kill his company. Literally, because we know he's in his 70s. And he ain't got much time left on this world. He doesn't. He doesn't have that much time left, obviously. And this guy is going out there and making us just suffer through Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre in a 15-minute match. Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre, if I'm correct, this match happened back in December. Remember when WWE did the brand invitational every quarter, which I hope they dropped it, and I think they have. Every quarter, a WWE superstar can come from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa. So WWE decided we're going to have Baron Corbin come to Monday Night Raw and face Drew McIntyre in the main event. Then somebody decided, hey, it's been months since that happened, and it was such an exciting match. Let's do it again on the go-home show to WrestleMania. A taped go-home show where they could have, this match should have been 5 minutes at most. They could have cut out half of this match, and we could have been done. We could have been done with this, and it wouldn't have been me just sitting here. I'm sitting here struggling to not fall asleep. That's how boring this show was. I'm literally out of energy, and I like to do recordings and other things, like playing some video games on PlayStation 4 or something, recording those, putting them up on another channel, whatever I want to do. And I literally want to do this. I hardly even want to do this and just be done with this, get it uploaded, get it posted what I do on social media, and then go the fuck to sleep, because this show just takes the energy out of you. Every single week, it's such a struggle. I literally have to pretty much take a fucking nap during the day just to be able to have the energy to watch Monday Night Raw. Because if you're on a half a tank of energy, you're going to be sleeping by the end of the night or struggling to stay awake, especially if you're somebody who wants to who sits here and reviews this or gives their opinion on this. It's just so horrible, man, how bad they have fucked this up. So fucking bad. So, Drew McIntyre comes out with his kilt on, a leather jacket, looking all badass and everything as he can. He warns him that takes the mic and says his match is happening at WrestleMania and they will rip each other apart, him and Lashley. He talks about how there's similar journeys, but what's different is how Drew McIntyre is willing to sacrifice and has sacrificed. Goes on and says you can beat a man who will sacrifice everything. He plans to run through Corbin tonight and take back the WWE title at WrestleMania. Out comes the Hurt Businesses, Bobby Lashley with MVP. We really shouldn't call it the Hurt Business because WWE killed the Hurt Business last week, along with morale around the main locker room. And of course, we all know why WWE killed the Hurt Business, and it's real simple. And other people put this out there. WWE knows. Vince McMahon knows. He might be a senile old fool, but when he knows, he knows. He knows that at WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre is going to go into this match, and this motherfucker is going to be booed out of the building because he's held the championship pretty much majority of the last over the last year. If I'm correct, WrestleMania was around this week, this past Sunday or something around this time, and he won the championship, held it all the way to Hell in a Cell, lost it for about 2 weeks, won the championship back, and then held it until the Elimination Chamber. And a lot of people I know were tired of Drew McIntyre. It's not his fault. And it sucks that Drew McIntyre's first 2 title runs were in empty arenas, majority of the time having a bunch of idiots sitting there booing and putting their thumbs up and thumbs down as they watch the match, watch the shows, and just not getting that proper run in front of a crowd. And when it knows something, yes, he's going to probably win on Sunday. We'll talk about that on Friday. And he's going to win the championship again. But then his title reign, if he wins on Saturday, is going to be, again, in front of an empty arena because they're not going to be bringing back fans for a good while. They're going to go right back to the Thunderdome on Monday next week. So, yeah, he's going to get booed at WrestleMania more than likely, even with the Hurt Business breaking up and WWE doing everything they can to make sure that Bobby Lashley is hated, booed out of the building. WWE is going to have a hard time, a very, very hard time, convincing people. Drew McIntyre is going to go from getting these fake cheers that WWE has him getting to boos upon boos upon boos upon boos. It's just going to be what it is. WWE just cannot escape this. It's going to be what it's going to be. And there's nothing they can do about it. So, says he was great. Lashley comes out and says if Drew is done yet, and says everyone is tired of hearing him talk about last year's WrestleMania, which I'm going to tend to agree. That was last year. We're going into WrestleMania this year. He says Drew was a great champion, so he does compliment Drew on that. But his time is over, and he says everyone is back, has been afraid of the Scottish Warrior, but he saw that shift last week, and he felt Drew fade out in the Hurt Lock. He was shaking. They continue to have words, and Lashley mentions his match against Cedric Alexander tonight. Drew wants to get in the fight done now. No waiting until WrestleMania. Drew, of course, MVP gets in the middle and says, that's not how it's going to work, and we have WrestleMania this Saturday. So, yes, WrestleMania going on this Saturday, and we're going to see how that goes. We see a replay of how AJ Styles almost took out the tag team champions last week. AJ Styles will take on the New Day's Xavier Woods in a rematch because of what happened last week. Still to come, Oscar and Rhea Ripley will team up and take Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in a non-title match. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are backstage talking when Matt Riddle walks up. They talk about their matches at WrestleMania. Woods mentions Riddle versus Mustafa Ali tonight. There are several marijuana-related references. From all three superstars as Riddle heads off. The New Day get distracted for a minute and they miss the music as the music starts. And then we go to a match. AJ Styles versus Xavier Woods, which on paper, in my opinion, if you give them 10, 15 minutes, they could give you a hell of a match. I could see AJ Styles, honestly, I could see, say next year, or later this year, when they need to break the New Day up. They need to finally split Kofi and Xavier. Don't have them turn on each other. Just be like, listen, man, we've done this enough. We have 11 championships between each other. Well, of course, Kofi has more. As a team, we have 11 championship title reigns. We need to go do other things. Kofi's a former WWE champion. Xavier Woods wants to be that champion, even though it might not happen. Of course, he wants to win King of the Ring. And I could honestly see, at SummerSlam, AJ Styles versus Xavier Woods, United States Championship, WWE Championship, hell, anything. I could see them going one-on-one in a 20-minute barn burner. Well, this match did not go very long, as they were just getting into this match. Kofi grabs the mic and says, "Hey, Omos, you took us out last week when we're still standing." Throws the mic at him. Omos goes after him. Distracts AJ Styles. Xavier Woods rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. What? You could have taken 5 minutes away from the main event and gave it to this match and gave these guys a little bit more time. But no. We're going to have AJ Styles get pinned in a fluke early on in a match that could have been a lot better. Just holy shit, what the fuck. We see a white Bugatti arrive and it's rapper Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Gee, you come to WWE's show and you come in a white car. Doesn't matter if it's Bugatti, it could be a Porsche, it could be a Cavalier, it could be any type of car, it could be a Mercedes. If it's white, you know something's gonna happen to it. It's just like if you go out into a show, go out in the crowd for a lumberjack match or something, or you go out for a segment wearing white, you know you're bleeding. Like when Jimmy Havoc, which I know he's not wrestling right now because of personal reasons, but when you know he was going out into a match usually wearing white, he was going to be bleeding buckets by the end. That's just how it is. So you knew something was going to happen to this Bugatti by the end of the night. And oh boy, it does, and it's fucking stupid. We go to the ring, and out comes Braun Strowman for a 2-on-1 handicap match when the steel cage is around the ring, which is going to be the match for them this coming Saturday? Oh, that's right, I don't really give a shit. Braun takes the mic and talks about being bullied his whole life over his appearance by guys like Shane. Braun goes on and warns Shane that he does not know what he got himself into. Shane can run his mouth on all he wants, but when he steps in the cage, the running stops. Braun isn't going to whip Shane's ass for himself. He's going to whip it for everyone who's been told they won't be anything in life, or that they're stupid. And I'm thinking, so Braun Strowman last year was the fill-in for Roman Reigns, who took his ball and went home for 4 months, and he won the Universal title from Goldberg. Held that title till SummerSlam, lost it to The Fiend, had his hair lost his hair after a abysmal swamp fight match, which just had him get sucked into the swamp. Was supposed to be heel for the remainder of his career, apparently, but of course that changed. That's always how it goes. And now this guy is feuding with Shane McMahon because Shane McMahon called him stupid. And now Braun Strowman, a guy that looks like a brick fucking house, has pushed over vehicles, has caused umpteen amount of dollars in damage, is now supposed to be a beacon of fucking hope for the little guy, for the men and women, or for the boys and girls who get bullied on a weekly basis. And I hate when wrestling does these bully angles, because they all go the same way. Don't be a bully, don't pick on people, but you know what happens if people bully you and pick on you? Violence is always the answer. That's how these always fucking go, and it's stupid. It's absolutely fucking stupid. And here we go again. Braun Strowman saying, I'm going to do this for everybody who's been beaten or been picked on, bullied, told they were stupid, and I'm going to make this guy who's been bullying me into pretty much a pretzel. He's going to beat him that so bad, and it's like, don't do these angles. Just don't. And I asked myself, what good does this do for Braun Strowman? Braun Strowman is going into a match with Shane McMahon that nobody in their mother really cares about. Look at the last match that Shane McMahon had at WrestleMania. It was 2 years ago, was it not? WrestleMania 35. They did not have a match with Shane last year because, COVID. But WrestleMania 35. Who did he face at WrestleMania 35? Oh, that's right. He faced The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. How did that match go? Shane McMahon won by Miz, I believe, suplexing him off of this big, huge tower into a pile of boxes, and Shane sort of just happened to be on top of The Miz. And then Shane, who was being a despicable heel then, worse than he is now, mind you, went on to beat The Miz again and again and again, making The Miz, who had a shred of credibility, shredded, taken away, and made to look like the dumbest loser clown in all of professional wrestling. He couldn't even beat The Miz. Shane McMahon. And The Miz went from somebody that, before he started teaming with Shane McMahon and doing the whole Shane McMahon feud, I honestly felt like maybe if they would have strapped the WWE Championship on him then for a week, I wouldn't have been against it. Because he was in a better place. His career was in a better place. But then they did all that shit with him and Shane McMahon, and it just didn't fucking work. And Shane McMahon felt like and Miz just went from being somebody who people cared about to not caring at all. So, not The Miz, but Braun Strowman taking on Shane McMahon just doesn't make any sense. Should I care about them after this? No, I should not. There is nothing coming out of this match that I'm going to make me care about more or less about Braun Strowman. He went from being Universal Champion 1 year ago to taking on Shane McMahon in a match that is fucking worthless. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. There's nothing else that you need to know about this show. This show is just going to be, it's going to be what it's going to be, and it's not going to fucking matter. That's all you can say about that. So, we get a 2-on-1 Jackson Micah versus Elias versus Braun Strowman match. Basically, it was a 2-on-1 match where neither one of the guys had to tag out. They get the hell beat out of them. They beat the hell out of Braun Strowman for roughly 2-3 minutes. He beats the hell out of them, beats them both down, clubs them both, power slams them both, 1, 2, 3 on both of them. That was that. Waste of motherfucking time. Then we go backstage. Kevin Patrick stops The Miz and Morrison. They're carrying some paint cans, which clearly was a different color than the Bugatti. They go about being great artists in music and painting, apparently. They approach Bad Bunny's white $3.6 million Bugatti. Morrison asks if Miz is serious, and Miz spots a supposed scratch, and says, "This is matching paint." And they say, "Oh, by all means then." And they paint, hey, hop on the hood in red paint. The painting continues all over Bunny's Bugatti. He also puts his fingerprints on there. Says, "My daughter loves finger paint. It's so cute and adorable." And it's like, this is what you have. Miz and Morrison finger painting. Miz and Morrison just, this company gives me a fucking headache. Holy shit, this is terrible. Holy shit, this was fucking awful. But this is what you get when you deal with WWE. This is the fucking shit we have to deal with on a weekly basis. And I just can't even with this company sometimes. What else do you want, though? What else do you want to see? But that's what WWE likes to do. They like to fuck things up and make everything just childish. Hey, mommy, daddy, look. That guy used finger paint on there. He's one of my favorites. Nah. Nobody likes The Miz, and nobody's going to like The Miz. Plain and simple. So, back from break, we see Bad Bunny, who's looking as Bugatti. He's furious. John Morrison and The Miz attack him from behind. They beat him up. And I'm thinking to myself, where's Damian Priest? You have Bad Bunny, who's always has Damian Priest. He's always beside Damian Priest every time we see him, except for in this one instance, so Miz and Morrison can beat the living fuck out of him. Why? Just why? So, they get taken away. They finally get away. Damian Priest checks on Bad Bunny. He's not happy. Priest calls for a medic, but Bunny tells him he's okay. And then we go to the ring for Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Asuka and Rhea Ripley. This match was just... Basically, the story was, could Rhea Ripley and Asuka coexist for one night because they wrestle at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship? Short answer is no, they could not. As Asuka goes up top for something on the top rope, Rhea Ripley shoves her down to the ground, to the floor, picks her up, slams her down, throws her in, running knee by Shayna Baszler. 1, 2, 3, and Shayna Baszler beats Asuka. Now, I would usually bitch and complain that a champion got beat on TV in a non-title match, but yeah, this one you can let slide because Asuka was fucking beat down and hurt by her own tag team partner, allowing Shayna Baszler to take advantage. So there's that. So yeah, like I'm still somewhat excited about Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. I really want to see what these two can do. I think these two, given the right amount of time, could actually kick ass at WrestleMania. So yeah. Did this match do anything for me? No, not really. I don't. It's just, get me to the match. That's all I want to see. Get me to the match. Give me the Sunday. Let me see these two go at it. So, see what happened last week with MVP Bobby Lashley kicking Shelton Benjamin out and Cedric Alexander out of the Hurt Business. Cedric approaches MVP backstage, grabs him by the collar and puts him up. Shelton approaches and says, "You might want to listen." He's had some harsh words and warning MVP, saying he may not beat Lashley tonight, but he will leave him something to remember him, a scar. He can't wait to see Drew McIntyre kick Lashley's teeth at WrestleMania and expose MVP for the crippled fuck he is. Cedric walks off. Shelton straightens MVP's jacket and tells him to stay his crippled ass out of the way. Sarah Shriver walks up and asks if he's now worried about Lashley's match tonight, which is the stupidest fucking question of the day so far. He's never worried about Lashley, but he's bothered about the ungrateful attitude he saw from Shelton and Cedric. He takes credit for them being relevant again, even winning the tag team titles, which he's kind of right about being relevant again, because exactly, what was Shelton Benjamin doing before he joined the Hurt Business? Where was Shelton Benjamin? Playing hopscotch in the back or sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. So, yeah, he should be thanking MVP for even allowing him to be in the Hurt Business. Just like Cedric Alexander. What was Cedric Alexander doing? Jobbing on main events, or being on main events week in and week out. Doing nothing in a tag team with Ricochet, which, honestly, I wish the Two Flight Crew, which what they wanted to call themselves, could have been something, could have been tag team players, tag team competitive in the tag team division, but you knew that was going nowhere. You knew it was going to be nothing between them two, so they broke them up and had him join the Hurt Business, which I was so grateful to. I was great to see Cedric Alexander be put in the Hurt Business because, yeah, Shelton Benjamin proven, Bobby Lashley proven, MVP proven, as people that WWE drew with or made relevant at one time or another. Cedric Alexander did not have that. Unfortunately, with all this going down, Cedric Alexander will not be getting that, like, being relevant after all this is over. Now, I'm going to clear something up right here, right now, that everybody that I've seen seems to fucking get wrong. People are hoping that this is all a swerve and that the Hurt Business will be fine coming WrestleMania. That maybe this is a swerve. Maybe they get kicked out of the Hurt Business so they can actually get involved in the match. Let me make something perfectly clear. When Drew McIntyre asked or demanded a 2-on-1 handicap match so that so if Drew McIntyre won, Cedric and Shelton would be banned from ringside, not the Hurt Business. Everyone's got this idea. I've seen JD say it. I've seen Solomon say it. Others say it's like, maybe this is a way for them to get Cedric and Shelton to be able to get into the match and help Bobby Lashley retain. No, it wasn't the Hurt Business. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, why is MVP out there when they said the Hurt Business was banned at ringside? No, they were not. MVP is perfectly allowed to be at ringside. Shelton and Cedric are not. It wasn't a stipulation that if Drew McIntyre won the 2-on-1 advantage, won the 2-on-1 handicap match, that the Hurt Business itself, the whole Hurt Business, that means Shelton, Cedric, and MVP were banned from ringside. It was Shelton and Cedric only. So anybody thinking that them breaking up the Hurt Business is a ruse to have Shelton and Cedric be able to get past the banning at ringside, you're fucking stupid. I'm going to call anybody who thinks that's exactly what they're trying to do, or hoping that's what they're going to do, you're fucking stupid, because it was clearly stated during that match, after that match, and before they were kicked out of the Hurt Business, that Shelton and Cedric alone were banned from ringside. So can we get that out of people's heads now? Thank you. Don't come to my TED Talk. Let's move on. So Bobby Lashley comes out. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander attack him early on, before the match even starts. So they get a couple good hits in. Of course, Samoa Joe, who's back on commentary this week, is like, MVP, you gonna do something about that? MVP brings up something from back in the day between him and Samoa Joe, that he helped Samoa Joe out, and Samoa Joe got mad at him. He said same situation. So yeah, eventually Lashley takes out Shelton Benjamin, tosses him outside. So him and Cedric Alexander have this match, and it's pretty much just a beatdown. It's a little squash. Yes, he was going to take Cedric Alexander to the ring post and hit him in the ribs, but Shelton Benjamin stopped that. Allowing Cedric to get some offense in. Doesn't last very long. Cedric gets spine busted by Bobby Lashley. Hurt lock, and it's over. He doesn't let go. Shelton Benjamin comes in, fights some, but he gets destroyed as well. Both men left laying. Bobby Lashley looking menacing as ever, and that was that. So out comes Damian Priest and Bad Bunny when we come back for commercial break. And can I wonder this? Who told Bad Bunny that the bun on his head was a good fucking idea? Because it looks fucking stupid. Like, why does this guy wear buns on his head? What kind of man wears fucking buns on their fucking head? It looks fucking stupid. Get that shit off your head, man. You look like a clown. So they come out, and of course, Damian Priest does what everyone knew was coming eventually, and he challenges these guys. He's like, oh, it's easy for you guys to beat a guy 2-on-1, so let's make it a tag team match at WrestleMania, which everyone expected from day one, from jump, that it was going to be Miz and Morrison versus Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. I feel bad for Damian Priest that his first WrestleMania has to be against the Clowns, Miz and Morrison, with a rapper as his tag team partner. This guy should be getting a big singles match, his first match at WrestleMania. Now, I could say that, yeah, it's only his first. It won't be his last, hopefully. And hopefully next year he gets a bigger match, maybe a championship match. But man, coming up from NXT where you felt like a fucking star in the making, and sometimes you did feel like a star, is now on going to WrestleMania in a match with the Clowns, Miz and Morrison, with a rapper, some kind of music musician as your tag team partner. Bad Bunny takes the mic. He speaks a little bit in Spanish, I think it is. Talks about how he loves the business. He loves and respects Triple H, Austin, all these things. He used to watch Raw and SmackDown with his father. He loves this business. He's trying to show respect in this business. Really, if you want to show respect in this business, get the fuck out. That's all I got to say. But he used to love and respect the Miz. He doesn't anymore. Miz and Morrison show up on the Titantron. They accept the challenge and get into a limo. A black limo, mind you. So, yeah, there's that. So that's going to be happening. Tag team match at WrestleMania. Sheamus stops Mustafa Ali backstage with advice of a little bit. Ali is fired up and facing Riddle tonight. Not interested in advice. Sheamus tells him to relax. They don't have much in common, but they have a complete dislike for Riddle in common and want the United States title. Sheamus says he will be out there rooting for Ali while on commentary. And then at WrestleMania, Riddle comes flying through on his scooter. He rides off they look very upset. So, yes, of course, Ali blames Riddle for Retribution being dead, but that's not Matt Riddle's fault. That's your fault because you blame them for everything. And by the way, that's the first talk of any acknowledgement of what happened at the Fastlane. I'm sorry, at Fastlane, wasn't it? Yeah, at Fastlane. The Fastlane pay-per-view where they ended the Retribution. Like, there was no follow-up last week. And now we're supposed to just sit there and be like, well, okay, that's it for Retribution. Which, you've had Retribution has been around for 9 months, was it? 6, 8, 9 months, something like that. And you just ended them because, why? Well, I don't know, because it fucking sucked. Well, we have Matt Riddle versus Mustafa Ali. What the hell can I say about this? This was a good match. These two guys, like Ali, I wish was not underutilized. When they're done with this angry Ali thing and he's done, I think this might be it. He lost to Matt Riddle. Yeah, of course he was, because Matt Riddle has a match on at WrestleMania. So why would you have him lose to Mustafa Ali? Mustafa Ali is probably going back to main event / catering, and we won't see him again for a very long while. Honestly, and I'm going to be honest again, when Retribution turned out to be him being the leader of Retribution, I knew that Retribution's days of doing anything was numbered, because Vince McMahon sees no money in Mustafa Ali. So he drug this stable's heels as long as he could, and Vince McMahon was like, you know what? That's enough. We're done. Sheamus stands up on the table. They have a shouting match, and that was that. Kevin Patrick is backstage with Drew McIntyre, talks about King Corbin. He's no king. Baron Corbin knows he'll do anything to get the job done, even climb over his grandmother, but this will be no different as he finishes Corbin with a claymore between the eyes and goes on to WrestleMania 37 to get the WWE title back from Bobby Lashley. He walks off. We go to commercial break, and it's time for the main event, which was so boring. I'm literally trying to not fall asleep during this match. I'm sitting here, and I could literally see and feel my energy just being sucked away from this match. There was nothing special about this match. This match should have been just removed. Or like I said, this was a tape show. They could have taken 5 minutes out of this match, given it to Xavier Woods and AJ Styles, maybe even 10 minutes out of this match, giving 5 of it to AJ Styles and Xavier Woods, giving another 5 to Ali and Matt Riddle, and then we just do that. Oh yeah, before we get to this match, there was a spot backstage with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax were interviewed when all these women's tag teams come up that are going to be in this tag team turmoil. So yeah, the SmackDown men's tag team titles are being defended in a fatal 4-way on Friday. Pre-taped already done. They're not even going to be at WrestleMania. Whereas the women's tag team titles have 2 matches that affiliate with them, with a tag team turmoil on night 1, where it's a tag team gauntlet match, pretty much. Tag team gauntlet match. With the winning team going to night 2 to face Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. and they can't even allow Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode to defend their titles on WrestleMania. How fucked up is that? There's a lot of big names not going to be on WrestleMania. Bayley's not going to be there. Charlotte's not going to be there. Jeff Hardy's not going to be at WrestleMania. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is on on Friday, which the excuse of why it's on Friday and not at WrestleMania is they want to have night 1 and night 2 main shows be 3.5 hours. Then why not put the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on the pre-show on Sunday, because they don't want to have a pre-show on Monday, on Saturday. So this match was boring. MVP's out there yelling at Corbin to get the job done because they don't want to have the match at WrestleMania with Drew McIntyre. And I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. The whole idea behind this thing is it's not about beating Drew McIntyre. It's about taking him out physically so he can't walk. He can't get to WrestleMania. So can someone again tell me why Baron Corbin didn't just get a fucking a chair and hit Drew McIntyre, break his leg or something like that? No, he has a match. Of course, MVP finally gets up and is like, Corbin, it's not about winning the match. And Corbin's like, what? It's about taking him out. Take him out, hands in the cane. Corbin goes for the cane shot. Drew ducks it, hits the Claymore shot, Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3. And that is that. And the show goes off the air. Bobby Lashley comes out. They have a stare down. And that is that. Very boring show outside of Mustafa Ali versus Matt Riddle. Those two are great. It disappoints me with AJ Styles and Xavier Woods. That match could have been so much better, so much longer. But they decided we're going to have a 2-minute squash with AJ Styles losing by distraction. But the go-home show to WrestleMania for Raw is over. We'll talk about it more on SmackDown with WrestleMania SmackDown, even though it's not WrestleMania because you're not in Raymond James Stadium in the ugly-ass Thunderdome in Tropicana Field. The last show in Tropicana Field before we go elsewhere, to somewhere else in Florida. Even though they could go to Texas, they can go to New Jersey, apparently. They can go to Maine, or Mississippi, and all these other fucking states, but they won't do it because they're cowards. Same thing in AEW. They're fucking cowards because we have to be safe. We have to make sure the COVID things. These states are opening and allowing events. Go do events somewhere else. I'm kind of getting tired of Daily's Place, and I'm kind of tired of seeing the Thunderdome. Just saying. But that is your Monday Night Raw review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Frost Club. Find me on twitch.tv/thefrostclub. And find me on Instagram at the Frost Club. And I will see you guys on Wednesday as AEW keeps chugging along, as we still have another month and a half to go before Double or Nothing. Until then, my name is Franz, and I'll see you guys later.